Welcome to today's Explainer. We've basically all been conditioned to obsess over one specific number when it comes to measuring our financial success: our salary. But today, we're going to look at the data together and discover why that number might actually be totally deceiving us. Let's get right into it. Section 1, the salary illusion: why income isn't everything. Okay, let's kick things off with a super quick thought experiment. I want you to honestly answer this question in your head right now. Who is richer? Got your answer? Okay, let's look at the scenario. So we're comparing two people here. Person A is pulling in a massive $200,000 a year. Person B, they're earning a very respectable but, much smaller $80,000 a year. Now, I know exactly what you're thinking because we all have this natural bias, right? It seems like simple math. 200 is obviously way more than 80. But hold on a second, because we're actually missing half the picture here. Check out this twist. What if we pull back the curtain and see what's going on behind the scenes? That high-flying $200,000 earner, well, turns out they're sitting on $150,000 of debt. Almost everything they make goes right out the door, and that debt just keeps piling up. Meanwhile, the person earning $80,000 has quietly, and I mean quietly, accumulated $700,000 worth of assets. Suddenly, the answer to our question isn't so obvious anymore, is it? The person making literally less than half the salary is actually sitting in a drastically better financial position. Which brings us to Section 2, the real wealth formula, the one number that matters. And that number? It's your net worth. Look, net worth is simply a snapshot of what you actually own after accounting for what you owe. I'm going to say that again because it is just absolutely crucial. It is what you own minus what you owe. Unlike your salary, which honestly just tells you what cash is hitting your checking account this month, your net worth gives you the true, totally unvarnished measure of your total financial health at any given second. So let's break down the first half of that equation, your assets. This is the stuff you own. We're talking cash, sure, but it also covers your investments, your retirement accounts, property, business interests, and other valuable assets. And as we saw with our $80,000 earner a second ago, someone with a totally normal, moderate income can build a giant mountain of these assets just by saving consistently, investing smartly, and letting compound interest do its magic over time. Think of it like this. Your salary is just the seed, but these assets, they are the actual tree. But we gotta look at the other side of the ledger, right? These are your liabilities. This is what you owe. Mortgages, credit card balances, personal loans, student debt, car loans, or maybe that impulse buy jet ski you financed last summer. The really important point here is this. A high salary gives you huge opportunities, absolutely. But if you're just using that fat paycheck to rack up items on this liabilities list, buying cars on credit, maxing out the plastic, taking on massive personal debt, your income isn't actually creating wealth. It's literally just funding your debts. So that brings us to this surprisingly simple math. You take that first list, your assets, you subtract the second list, your liabilities, and boom, there it is. That's your net worth. It is incredibly straightforward, yet I promise you it's the single most powerful calculation you can run on your personal finances. You just subtract what you owe from what you own. Simple as that. Moving on to Section 3, the great wealth blind spot, what most people are missing. Okay, you got to look at this data from a 2025 Yahoo Finance and Marist survey. When Americans were asked about this, only 58% said they actually knew their net worth. 21% straight up said they didn't know, and another 21% were, well, unsure. So if you add that up, that means a staggering 42% of people, we are talking nearly half the population here, are operating completely in the dark when it comes to their actual financial standing. I mean, that is a fascinating and honestly kind of dangerous problem. Just think about the deep irony of this for a second. We spend years, literally decades, obsessing over our paychecks. We fight tooth and nail for our 5% raise, we stress out over bonuses, we grind overtime just to boost our income. But at the exact same time, almost half of us completely ignore the one single number that actually measures our accumulated financial position. It's like we're obsessing over the water flowing out of the tap while completely ignoring whether or not the bathtub is actually filling up. All right, let's get practical. Section 4, building your balance sheet, how to start tracking it. Here is your super simple, totally actionable game plan. It's just 3 steps. Step 1, list your assets. Just jot down the value of everything you own. Step 2, list your debts. Write down exactly what you owe. Step 3, calculate the difference. That is literally it. You have just created your own personal balance sheet.
I highly recommend doing this at least once a year just to get a bird's eye view of your financial health, though doing it a bit more frequently really helps you stay engaged and see your real-time progress. Now, once you calculate that baseline number, there is a crucial make or break diagnostic question you have to ask yourself. Is my net worth moving in the right direction? Right? Like over time, year after year, is that final number actually going up? If it is, awesome, congratulations, you are building true wealth. But what if it isn't? Well, if your net worth is stuck or going backwards, something has got to change. And you basically have four main strategic levers you can pull. You could focus on increasing your income. You could ruthlessly slash unnecessary spending. You could aggressively pay down expensive debt. Or you could invest more consistently. Remember our $80,000 earner from the very beginning? By pulling a combination of these levers, keeping spending in check, avoiding bad debt, and investing consistently, even a pretty moderate income can build life-changing wealth over time. You seriously don't need a massive salary if you know how to work these four levers. So let's bring this all together, because this contrast is an absolute game changer for how we should think about money moving forward. Your salary, that's just money flowing through your life. It's fluid. It comes in, and man, if you aren't careful, it goes right back out just as fast. But your net worth, that is the actual financial value you've accumulated. It's the solid ground beneath your feet. Obviously, income is undeniably important because it gives you the raw opportunity to save and invest, but hear me on this. It is not the finish line. I really want to leave you with this final thought. Sustained wealth building is ultimately reflected in the growth of what you own relative to what you owe. It's time to stop judging your success solely by the size of your paycheck. Look at your assets, face your liabilities, and figure out your actual number. So here's my parting question for you to chew on. If your salary suddenly stopped tomorrow, how long would your actual net worth keep you afloat?